ladies and gentlemen, Dusty Thunder here with another AITA story for you, titled, Am I the Astronaut for Telling My Wife Not to Come to My Reunion? My 33 male 10-year college reunion is this month, and I have been looking forward to it all year. My wife, 32 female, and I have two very young children and have moved recently, and as a result, I have had a hard time socializing, making friends, or doing anything outside of caring for a toddler and a baby. I have felt increasingly isolated and depressed and have begun antidepressants. I am looking forward to this reunion and seeing some of my best friends and their families. Several of my friends are also now married with children. We live close enough to drive to the college for various events throughout the long weekend. 3 months ago, we had our second son. Following delivery, my wife had to be rehospitalized due to complications. I had to take her to the ER, and she ultimately suffered a stroke as a result of complications with pregnancy and delivery. She was in the hospital off and on for an entire month. It was pretty wild and scary, but ultimately, she is much better. I do not want to minimize the real trauma and toll that pregnancy and delivery can take on a woman. I completely respect that, and that is not what this post is about. In the months since the ordeal, my wife has been insufferable. Every single conversation ends up going back to her health issues, petty drama among her family relating to it, etc. I cannot stand it. I hate getting asked by well-meaning people at church how the baby is doing because my wife will immediately jump in and recount her health issues. I have been next to her while every single doctor walks through the very straightforward situation, and my wife will exaggerate everything. She has to have a very common low-risk procedure on her heart, and she keeps referring to it as heart surgery. Or it's a procedure on your heart. It's heart surgery, right? You would think that this woman has been through combat and needs open heart surgery based on the way she describes her situation. I am just insanely frustrated. I know that she will completely dominate every single conversation I have at the reunion. I know she will wedge in stories about her delivery and trauma and toss in complaints about her family into every attempt to catch up with friends. I do not want the entire weekend to be completely about her. This is not all about me wanting a break from the kids or an excuse to drink or get into shenanigans with former classmates. I plan on coming home each evening after the day's events, and I no longer drink. I'm a very, very involved parent. This is not about me not supporting her. While she was hospitalized, I did 100% of the things with our newborn. All the feedings, nights, appointments, etc. I have strongly encouraged her to get back into therapy. I know the suggestions might be that she only comes to parts of the reunion. To be honest, I don't want her there at all. I just frankly cannot stand her in this season because of the way she has responded to these health issues. I do not want her dominating the weekend. Am I the astronaut for telling her not to come at all? This is different. This is way different than I thought it would be. I don't think he's ashamed of his wife. So look at it this way. As a parent with young children, every parent goes through this season, we'll call it, or this phase, where you feel like you're losing yourself a little bit, like you're losing your own identity because you become a servant. You become just numb in the duty of performing care for your child. And you love doing it. Like you wouldn't change it for the world, but going through that repetition and only caring for others and only caring for others and only caring for others leaves you with an empty cup. And at some point you have to fill up your own cup. So he went through this phase, or they both did, where they were losing themselves caring for children, which is a common thing, and everybody kind of fights through it their own way. But then he goes through it again with his wife. And yes, her health issues are real, and the feelings that he has about how she's representing those are valid, but so are her health issues. And yes, she may be exaggerating them for attention. I understand where he's coming from. And so for him, since they started having kids and all this started happening, life has been work for him. I think that's his point. It's been work. He's on his last nerve. He's fried. He feels like a zombie shell of himself. And this is an opportunity for him to fill up his own cup. And he knows if she goes along, that is not going to be that kind of experience at all. Now, there's a big difference between not wanting her there and telling her, I don't want you there, right? I feel like if that's your goal, if your goal is to go alone so you can use this as a cup filling experience for yourself, then there's a way to go about it that isn't, I don't want you there. There's a way to go about it that is, hey, this has been, a really tough time for both of us. I need this. I need this for me. Are you okay with with staying behind and my going myself. There's a conversation that has to happen here. Maybe that's impossible right now because of the season that your marriage is in or where your wife is at right now. Maybe that's impossible, but I think you need to tell her how you feel, because it's not that you don't want her there. I mean, it is, but it is not that you don't want your wife there. It is that you don't want every conversation to be hijacked. It is that you don't want it to be a replay of the same day-to-day stuff that you have to deal with right now, because the whole point of going is to escape the day-to-day right now, which feels like work all the time. If you do not fill up your own cup and do something for you, you will fade. You will lose yourself. And when you lose yourself, there's damage done to that. Your marriage is going to start to crumble. Your relationship with your kids is going to start to crumble. Your whole life is going to start to crumble if you do not address this at some point. But I would hope you could talk to your partner about this and be like, hey, I need this. And I would hope that your partner is supportive enough to be like, I get it. I need something for me too. I'm going to find something that can be a me thing too. You guys both need you things. And if this is the you thing that you're choosing, communicate that. I do not think you have to say, I do not want you there, wife. I don't think that's the right way to go about it. And I really don't think that's at your core what you're trying to achieve here anyway. To communicate what you really want, I do think you need to communicate your feelings through here, but I understand where you're at. It could be the attention, or it could be that this was such a traumatic event that it's consumed her thoughts, and she's on replay from this. Like, she can't escape it. She can't escape the vacuum of that black hole of this trauma that happened with her, and she can't live beyond that moment or that situation right now. It's possible. And I know that, he loves his wife, but they're entering this resentment phase. I don't think it's to indifference yet. It's to resentment. Frame this differently, and think about it in terms of what you're really trying to achieve for yourself, and try to communicate that to your partner. And it may be worth attaching I know you need a similar experience for you. I know you need to fill up your own cup as well. So let's find something that you could do without the kids and without me that would be enjoyable for you, that would be a break for you. But this thing I really feel like needs to be for me. I need this. And I would hope, so if Candy Thunder came to me and said this, I'd be 100% in support of it. I would be. If you came to me and said, I need to go to this thing, I need some me time, I'd be like, okay, I get it.